Yeah, we were waiting until they actually revealed things, because yesterday took them a while. So what have we seen yesterday? We'll pull it up right here. Yeah, we'll wait for everyone to get out of the ads. They dropped Elder Dragon, so we'll take a look at that. And then they just revealed Tryndamere. So that'll be fun. Slightly surprised, but I also don't mind. I think Freljord getting another champion will be nice. Hope patch notes isn't disaster like last time. I mean, yeah, we'll have to see, hopefully. I love the 6-star Elder Dragon. I mean, they made him very simple. Afternoon Toast officially changed my favorite 6-star from Echo to Volibear. Playing with huge units that I never see or play is fun. Yes, Volibear is tons of fun. I love him. I haven't seen anything yet. Haven't played anything as well. Yeah, we're waiting. The current ad break is like 2 minutes, and then we're gonna dive into everything. Yeah, Tryndamere is actually the new champion. Yeah, Elder Dragon is very simple and straightforward. Which honestly isn't that surprising. I kind of figured they might do that, since he already was a super simple and straightforward champion. All right, we have a minute and a half, and everyone will be back. They gave Eddie a basic 6-star because he's a win con by himself. Yeah, and he's going to be pretty crazy when you drop him, since now he's getting like 9/9 as far as extra stats, and then he's also getting almost all the general keywords. So he's going to be pretty insane. Tryndamere is the new champion, as well as Elder Dragon. So we're still getting 2 champions, just like this is normally what they do. They upgrade one and then they add in the other one. I mean, we have 30 seconds, and then everyone should be out of any ad breaks, and then we're gonna break everything down from the beginning. Hey, Rivi, thoughts on Eddie? We're about to get to that, but I'm doing all right. We were holding off to start stream because we weren't sure when they were gonna start posting things, but I just saw them reveal Tryndamere at 12, so I was like, okay, they're gonna start revealing all this stuff. We should start streaming. All right, everyone should be back. So let's go over Elder Dragon. So first, to start off, his starting deck is staying the exact same. So everything you see here, we don't see the items. Maybe they're changing those, but his starting deck has not changed at all. Now, as far as his powers, they didn't adjust his 3 cost or less. Like his first, second, or third star powers, these all look the exact same, which isn't that surprising. Early Bird. So game starts, summon your weakest follower from your deck. Pretty good power. We'll get into that a little bit more. 5-star, just the normal 5-star. And then 6-star, your dragon boons are replaced with dragon souls. That's a very good power, but it is also very basic. We were kind of hoping that maybe this would be incorporated into the 5-star, and he'd maybe get something a little bit more special. But no, they've gone for a pretty simple and straightforward game plan for Elder Dragon. So they're not really adding any complexity to him, but that can be fine. Some people just like a very simple, straightforward champion. It's not too bad. And then we also have his Relic, which seems fine. When you play a 6+ cost or 6+ base cost unit, deal 2 damage to all enemies and the enemy nexus. This just seems fine. Like, Volibear could use this. You could use this as Elder Dragon. Probably don't really want it on most other champions. And this is something that can be really good in lower end adventures, but especially in high end adventures, I think it's not going to be that big of a deal. We'll have to see, though, especially in like the mid game. You'll be able to just drop like this every single round. So it's kind of like a worse version of Vayne 6-star without the extra champion element to it. Now, the early bird, this is actually going to be pretty good because you can work around this since it's summoning your weakest follower. So if you cut some of your followers, like your Ruby-Eyed Conjurer, then you just get your Blue Sentinel right away. And you could potentially cut both of these. There's normally opportunities to cut at least 2 times in the adventure. And so you could maybe get your Dragon Worshipper, because I don't know the stats on the White Flame, but you could potentially get your Dragon Worshipper your weakest card. So this is immediately going to give you some extra mana for next round. So could be some possibilities there to try to work around this. Now, we did also get a couple other things. So we got some news on, for one, this is the Dragon Souls. So if you want to know what the Dragon Souls are, this is all of them. Remember, when you play Elder Dragon, he gets all of these. So 3 health, Spell Shield and Challenger, 3 health and he's a permanent, Tough Barrier, 3 health, Heal Ally 6, Dragon Soul 3 power, Last Breath Revive Me, 3 power, Quick Attack and Impact, and 3 power, Fearsome and Overwhelm. So when you drop your Elder Dragon, on top of everything else that he's potentially going to get, he is also going to be getting 9/9 as far as stats, extra stats, and then all of these keywords, which is going to be pretty insane. So I think Elder Dragon, isn't he normally like a 20/20 roughly? I think. And so that is pretty good. And then yes, they did also show his star powers, or a couple of them. Or not star powers, but some of the bonus stars, which are pretty impactful. All right, while I find it, I do actually know what it is. So one of them is on your support champion. When you play your support champion, they play 2 dragon boons on them. That is going to be really big because your dragon boons, they give you that cost reduction for your units. So being able to get that cost reduction can be pretty massive, or cost reduction for your Elder Dragon. So that right there is really good. Or you can also use it. Well, it's just going to make your unit very big. So when they're upgraded to Dragon Souls, whatever unit you're playing, so you can play like a really cheap support champion and get a whole bunch of extra stats, and it could be pretty insane. Now, there is currently a bug where your support champion, if they're 2 very different costs, so if you have like a 1-cost support champion, your Elder Dragon's a 12 cost, then you're not going to get any stat items because they don't want you to get stat items in your cheaper champion. So that's still kind of bugged, so you might not want to do that if you want to get extra stats on Elder Dragon. But overall, that's going to be pretty big. Okay, here it is. All right, so I'll drop my camera here. So your support champs have Flame Wreathed Soul, which play 2 random dragon boons on me. This is going to be huge, buffing up that unit massively, but then also giving you cost reduction for Elder Dragon. And then stocking Broodmother, this is the one with the Scout Barrier, has Dragon Egg, so play some of the random dragon of my base cost or less. This is going to be pretty big, because you play one of your best units and you get an extra unit, and then you get 2 dragon boons, which should upgrade to Dragon Souls with a 6-star on your support champion. This is going to make your support champion way more strong, but then also playing your support champion gives you extra cost reduction on Elder Dragon. So that's going to be really good. So yeah, overall for Elder Dragon, pretty simple and straightforward, but it will be solid. So kind of the two thoughts I think with your support champs is get someone that's going to be cheap. You can play them, you'll get 2 dragon boons on them, or get someone that's still that 6 cost or higher, because when you play them, your 2-star is going to give them essentially 2 dragon boons, because you get 1 from playing a 6 cost unit, this gives you another one, and then you get 2 more from your Constellation upgrade. So you're essentially getting like 4, I think it should work like this, 4 dragon boons or dragon souls on your support champion if they're a base cost of 6 or higher. And the fact you're getting the mana flow right here, and you're getting the Starforged Gauntlets if you have it, you can play a, 4 cost unit turn 1, which can be a 6 cost unit. So literally in the very first turn, you can start dropping your 6 cost units and higher. So yeah, you're going to really want to cut a lot of these cheaper ones from your deck. So I think Elder Dragon will be pretty simple and straightforward, but pretty good. Yeah, it's 12:15. We'll see if they drop something else here. I still believe that Eddie's Relic needs a complete redesign. It feels worse than even Nasus one. Yeah, I think it feels like it reminds me of the Ambessa one, and that's not really a good thing. But yeah, so far we did get Tryndamere. He's the person that's actually coming, which I was slightly surprised by, but pleasantly surprised. I think he's better, should be more interesting than Malphite. Yeah, they showed Tryndamere right here. His relic should be about boons or other champions could use. It would be nice if they did that. Don't trust that that champion's going to be interesting at all. I think Tryndamere can be interesting. I mean, we need more Freljord units, so getting another Freljord champion I think will be fun. Yeah, it's Tryndamere and Elder Dragon. It must be canon. They're showing it. They might be waiting to post more. Because, yeah, they revealed this at 12 o'clock. If you get, like, Zoe, did she get summoned round 1 with the 2 dragon boons? Dragon boons are normally, I think they're a play effect. So you have to be pretty careful about that. You probably don't want that to trigger your 4-star. Also, this is weakest follower, so it can't summon champions anyways. Hello, Boro. To me personally, Elder Dragon's Relic should just give a dragon boon to a 6 cost. It allows to stack more boons. It would fit Elder Dragon, would value a 6-star, would be usable for other champs. Yeah. His Relic looks a bit rough. Like, we'll try it, and it can probably stomp lower end challenges, and it can be a good one for like certain modifiers, like damaged units die at the end of the round, or if the enemy has units that only get 1 health, so it's normally going to affect you as well. So, or like you can potentially use it into like formidable, maybe. In general, though, I don't think you're going to even want to use it on Elder Dragon. Like, we'll try it on it, we'll test it on him, but do I want that over Starforged? Do I want that over Disciple of Shadows? Do I want that over Found Fortune or Portal Pals, Beast Within? Any of those sound more impactful than Elder Dragon's Relic, which is sad. But, I think they'll announce Glory Store in the next dev video. I mean, they've confirmed they're going to talk about it in that video, yes. That's the opposite sentiment I've been seeing about him, Toast. Everyone groaning about him being basic boring. Like, he's simple, sure, but I don't think he's going to be boring and bad like people say. I mean, people just love to complain. I think calling him simple is not a bad thing. Yes, he's simple. That doesn't necessarily have to be a problem. Because he's already a simple champion and people love him. So I think it's fine. It would be cooler to have Lysandre Nivier, as someone pointed out. But I don't think we need to groan and disappoint about Trid. Oh, you're talking about Tryndamere? Yeah, people love to complain, especially online. I feel like people should have learned by now. And there's even a post on Reddit talking about it, like, play the champions first before you just say that they're going to be terrible. Like, I get maybe being disappointed because maybe you were really a fan of Malphite and you were really hoping that was going to happen. I know that happened with me with Swain. I really wanted it to be Scion because I think Scion would be a lot of fun. But yeah, wait till the champions come out, play them before you just immediately assume they're bad. Gale Force with new stats, Gale Force Elder can evolve by himself. Yes, going for some things like going for Gale Force, going for the Vi Relic, those are going to be other ones that are very, very good for you. I mean, the only issue with Tryndamere doesn't pass the Titan vibe, or in Malphite, Galio, Scion, Udyr do pass. I mean, Tryndamere is more of a Titanic unit than Udyr is. But I would say for the first bunch, yes, those are all, at least like in the lore, way bigger. I mean, the first three, like Ornn, Malphite, Galio, those all 100%. Scion, more so. And then I would say Tryndamere is better than Udyr, but yeah. Yeah, Tryndamere is Titanic as far as stats. If you're trying to think of like the in-universe, how big these characters are, then sure, Tryndamere isn't Titanic in that sense. But as far as in-game stats, yeah, he's Titanic. Scion is like statue size. Yes, but I would say like Ornn, Malphite, and Galio are all huge. And then there's Scion, which is still big compared to a normal person. And so it's like, Scion is big, but I think he's still small compared to the others. Trid is the size of a human with big stats. Yeah. Refresh. Oh, notification. Let's see. Weird that it got posted like the 20-minute mark. All right, let's see what we have for Tryndamere. Mighty Poro. Is this? Yeah, this looks like the first page of it. All right, so Mighty Poro 3/3. Doesn't this says Overwhelm? Huh. Avarosian Hearthguard. Grant allies in our deck 1/1. 5. I think I'm confusing this with another one that has grant units in our deck our stats. Snowdog, attack, grant the top 2 allies in your deck 1/1. So 2 of these have big scaling. I thought Mighty Poro had Overwhelm, so I'm not sure if they just gave this a different card. Confusing with Revna? Yeah, I think so. And then, yeah, Tryndamere. Then we have... Oh, the order they put these in is interesting. Hunting Boar, so 3 cost, can't block, last breath, get an extra mana gem, so more ramp. Omen Hawk, they just love throwing this in Freljord decks when someone grant the top allies in deck 1/1, so more scaling. Glacial Sorin, so 5 cost, 5/4. When someone grant the top 3 units in deck 1/1, if an ally has a different subtype than me, draw one of those units. So again, more scaling for your top deck. As far as subtypes, we have Bird, Poro, and Dog. Okay, so we do actually have a decent amount of subtypes. That's interesting. Elixir of Iron to buff our units. Caught in the Cold, Vulnerable, and Frostbite. Alright, star powers. Round start, if you have the attack token, create a Call to Arms in hand or reduce its cost by 2 if you have one. Bloodlust, +1 starting mana. When allies attack, grant allies in your deck 1/1. So just every time you attack, you're buffing up your entire deck. So the later you draw something, the bigger it is. Also, a lot of your other cards also have this buffing of your top deck by 1/1. So it's an interesting scaling method. Your 3-star round start, create a Call to Arms in hand or reduces cost by 2. So this is just now a round start effect instead of if you have the attack token. Treacherous Terrain, this is actually really strong. Each round, the first time a foe summons unit, frostbite it. Really solid defensive power. 5-star is just mana flow. And then the 6-star, when you summon an ally, double its stats this round when you play a Call to Arms rally. Okay, so the double the stats this round, so that's just a give, that's a temporary. But then when you play a call to arms, rally, so potentially you can rally every single round. And every time you attack, which you can do from your rally, you're buffing your entire deck. His item, plus 10 Nexus Health. If I'm Tryndamere, when you grant stats to a unit in your deck, grant twice as much. That's actually pretty insane. So 10 Nexus Health, that's good defensively. But then you have so much, including your second star power, that's all about buffing up your deck or your top deck. So it's just doubling your scaling for most of your units. And yeah, this is only Tryndamere, so only he can benefit from it. But this seems like, if you like the champion, this is going to be absolutely insane. Kind of mediocre on anyone else, but this is obviously better than like the Elder Dragon one, or at least that's what it seems. And then we have Call to Arms, so 5 cost focus. Updraft 1, so that's like discarding a card to put back in your deck to summon the top ally from your deck. So this is doing a couple things for you. For one, by putting a card back in your deck, it can then get your scaling from your second star power. So that's really interesting. So you can shuffle a unit back in to further scale it up, and then you're summoning the top ally from your deck. This is regardless of cost. So if you have a really big unit there, it's just boom, getting summoned on your units. Now it can't trigger any play effects, but you're essentially just playing a unit for free. Well, not for free, you have to spend mana on this card. All right, let's see what some of you guys are saying before we dive more in. Okay, this 6-star is broken. Interesting that it's his deck and not everywhere. Yeah, I agree. Secret Technique. Secret Technique won't really work because Secret Technique is only from spells, where this scaling, a lot of the scaling is not from spells. I love Tryndamere's just punch harder. It is interesting that there's nothing here to revive your units. It's just scaling. Ton of stats on the 6-star. Yeah, it's going to be a ton. Omen Hawk and the 5 cost will help with his 6-star. Don't like its focus. Hopefully it gets burst. It might. His playstyle is unique. Yes, it is. I'm not saying you want to use Secret Technique. Okay, good. All right, let's look through all of this again now that we have some more context. Still don't know why Mighty Port doesn't have Overwhelm, but grant your allies in your deck 1/1. That's pretty much what your entire 6-star is, or your second star, sorry. But this is going to get doubled by your 6-star, so overall, solid. Attack, grant the top 2 allies in your deck 1/1. So not hitting your whole deck. Your top ones, though, which again will get doubled by your 6-star. Hunting Boar, this is just going to give you some extra mana ramp, and it can give you a free unit to attack with because this can't block. Omen Hawk, when summon, grant the top allies in deck 1/1. Again, this is going to be doubled by your 6-star. Sorin, when summon, grant the top 3 units to deck 1/1. If it is a different subtype, draw 1. So this can work to draw somewhat. And then again, this is just buffing your top deck even more. So you're not going to have like any removal. Your only removal is going to be your vulnerable from Caught in the Cold. So that's going to be something you have to think about. But overall, looks like it's going to be a lot of scaling. We don't know what items or other effects we have. If you have the attack token, create a Call to Arms in hand or reduce its cost by 2 if you already have one. So yeah, with your 1-star, it is going to be kind of rough to play this. Like, you'll eventually be able to play it after like 2 to 3 rounds. When allies attack, grant allies in your deck 1/1. So just by default, every other round you're attacking, you're buffing up your entire deck. But if you can get Scout, free attack, any of that is just going to massively increase your scaling. Create a Call to Arms in hand, reduce its cost by 2. So the first round, this is just going to be a normal like 5-cost card. Now, one thing they do quite often is they reduce this in the Constellation and potentially upgrade it to burst. So this might not stay at a 5-cost. This might go and be a little bit cheaper. I think that's just him reposting the same thing we've seen. Yeah. So it is going to be fairly pricey. The good thing is, the later this gets in the game, you can just start playing this every round. Really good defensive. And yeah, when you summon an ally, double its stats this round. So this is going to work somewhat like Deadly, except it's only temporary for the round. You could go for something like Corrupted Star Fragment with your Tryndamere to try to lock in all those stats permanently. So yeah, you're getting a bunch of stats from a unit when you play them, when you summon them. And then every time you play this Call to Arms, you get a rally, especially in the late game. You're just going to be able to rally every single round. And then this is just insane for you. You're just doubling your scaling. He has no control. He has limited control. You're frostbiting the unit every round. Probably, as long as they play something. And then you have Caught in the Cold. So you have very limited control. This is also your removal tool. So not a lot. You are going to be very focused on your units. And yeah, this is a summon effect, which can be pretty good. The fact that this isn't a play effect is really good. I mean, it's fitting. Tryndamere has no control when in Fury. Might be -2 cost, possibly, for the Call to Arms. I was always perplexed about Tryndamere. Level up, is it really just 1-2 or something tough? I think he also gets tough as well as, yeah, some more stats. It's cute. He gets Treacherous Terrain to match Ash. Yeah. Yeah, the fact that this is when you summon an ally, double its stats, that could be exceptionally good, especially anything that gives you ephemeral units. Like if you get Stabilized, Shadow Totem. Yeah, the fact that this isn't a play effect is pretty big. I'll tell you what, I didn't expect Tryndamere's shtick to be deck buff. Yeah, they didn't do anything with reviving your units, so they are leaving that to just Tryndamere, which is a little bit surprising, unexpected. But yeah, you're having this massive scaling, and it's kind of in a unique sense. We haven't really seen this before. Like, other people also scale through attacking, but normally that's scaling up like those specific units. But here you're attacking with your units to buff up all of your other ones. Burst speed, focus, updraft 1 to summon the top ally from your deck. So yeah, summon effects are going to be very good for you. I'm just trying to reread to see if there's anything I missed. Also, I think updraft reduces its cost. I think updraft reduces its cost by 1. And yeah, it is ally from your deck, so you can pull out a champion. Normally, you get to choose the updraft. So you get to choose what card you don't want, which can be good, because if you have someone really expensive, like if you have your Tryndamere in your opening hand, you could shuffle him back in if you don't have cost reduction, and then try to draw him out through this. So yeah, you put it back in your deck, it gets buffed up by your powers more, and then you get to summon it again. Predict power is kind of insane. Yeah, a bit. War Mother's Call could be fun. Yes, it would. All right, so overall, Tryndamere looks pretty interesting. They definitely took a different approach than I was expecting. And the good thing is, a lot of these cards we have not really seen in a lot of other decks. Like, we've seen Mighty Poro in a couple, but Hearthguard and Snowdog we haven't, I don't think. And then we have seen Glacial Sorin in like the Nico deck, and we have seen Omen Hawk in a couple. But Hunting Boar is another one I don't think we've seen anywhere. So it is nice we are getting some random ones. A bit surprising that we don't have... I I guess a lot of the units, like the whole self-harm aspect, they're maybe not wanting to do that because other, like we already have Tom Kench, and then if they add in Vladimir, those are units that they might really want, or just that playstyle. I guess the whole thing with this attack, you don't have any ephemeral units, so it's not like you can go for Pike and you have like an ephemeral unit you can try to attack to get your lurk off. Here, you're just having to throw everything at the enemy, and you're just going to be constantly getting stronger throughout the entire course of the game. But yeah, your units are potentially going to just be fed into the meat grinder and die, and you'll have to replace them with bigger ones. It will be good, though, because when you summon an ally, double its stats. Since that's a summon effect, and this is a summon effect, you just always know it's going to trigger, so you can pull something out like this. If this could get upgraded to burst speed, so you could use it to drop a blocker, that could be nice. Omen Hawk is a little bit of a good generic card. It is, and it's just extra good for you since it's fitting exactly into the playstyle they made for him. You got some pull with Riot. Can you tell them to stop making if I'm specific champion relics? I mean, they have. Like, a lot of those relics, they have stopped making. Now, I don't think they're just going to permanently stop making all of them. But, yeah, they don't do it as often anymore. But yeah, this seems like it's going to be insane. Like, the Elder Dragon one, even if you're a fan of Elder Dragon, I think you could probably pass on it if you want. If you think you're going to be a major fan of Tryndamere, this seems like one you need to get. With the Volley Adventure, this Elder Dragon is going to be the easiest 3-star diamond chest. Yes, it will. Elder Dragon Relic is Ambessa 2.0. That's the vibes it's giving me. Hopefully it's going to be... I think it will be better than that. But... it doesn't... you don't look at it like, oh, wow, that's crazy. That's not really that at all. Why do you think they made it this round? Probably because they considered it to be too strong if it wasn't just this round. Like, it already seems like it's going to be ridiculously strong. They probably wanted to make it not too broken, I would guess. But yeah, getting the power for Tryndamere where all your buffs are permanent is going to be huge. If it wasn't this round, it would match Aesil's power. Yeah, that's true. If it wasn't this round, it wouldn't give rally. That's also potentially true. The fact that this is giving you a rally that's like every single round, pretty much, is going to be very good. Yeah, this will be pretty crazy because this first part is just constantly active throughout the entire course of the game. And it might take a round or two to be able to do the call to arms. But if you can get sorcery, that could be really good for you. Yeah, I think Tryndamere is going to be fairly flexible. Going for some spell-focused powers can be really good because you want to play your call to arms very often. But then you can also just focus on a bunch that are all about your units, and that could also be really good for you. Yeah, this is definitely a much more unique approach than I was expecting, but I think it's going to reminds me a lot of Ambessa. Like, Ambessa was a very unique approach to scaling as well that we'd never really seen before. And so he kind of reminds me of her a good amount. Can't Stop, Won't Stop is such a good, underrated power, I feel like. It's not appreciable to a lot of things, but it's applicable to things you wouldn't think of, and it's so good to give all your units, give all of your gives into grants. Yeah. Echoing Spirit try. Yeah, Echoing Spirit could be interesting because you could then try to get your Tryndamere to get summoned through this, which could be pretty fun. The bad thing with Echoing Spirit, though, is you can brick your hand by just drawing all your champions, and then you can't play anything for a couple rounds. That's always kind of the toss-up with expensive champions. I am kind of wondering what items they're going to give your support champion. Because I'm not thinking of any offhand that like super synergize with this. I mean, they could give you Hidden Tome or Lost Chapter. That honestly wouldn't be terrible. Is there no way to reduce his deck? There's no cost reduction that we can see here. We don't know if there's going to be any in the powers. They're normally, or in the upgrades, there normally are. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this one got reduced down a little bit. Same with the Sorin. This one does give you a little bit of extra ramp, so there is that. You could also pair the Hunting Boar with Caught in the Cold to make sure that this dies. That actually is going to be probably a pretty good strategy. Yeah, not seeing anything else as far as like cost reduction. Scout, maybe? Scout's going to be very good if you can get it. I bet they'll give Boar Challenger. That would be nice. If they gave any of your units Scout, or you're probably talking about the support champions. So Scout for your support champions would be pretty good, because getting extra attack would be awesome. It'd be cool if they gave you Quick Strike Blade on them. Gale Force. Gale Force can be good and bad. Like, yes, it's going to recall your Tryndamere, so then you can try to get him again. The one issue is you might summon him, well, especially without the 6-star, you might summon him when you don't have the attack token, so then he gets on the board and then immediately gets recalled. If you have the attack token, so your Call to Arms is going to give you the rally, then Gale Force could be better. 5 Relic plus Stat Relic. I think for Tryndamere, you're probably, like most Titanic units, going to want to go for Starforged Gauntlets. You're probably going to want to go for his Relic, because that's just giving you so much scaling. I think you go for Vi Relic if you can get the stats. So if you're in like the new Titanic event, then going for the Vi Relic could be pretty good. I think Hidden Tome could be okay. Could go for Disciple of Shadows if you want to get him on the board a little bit earlier. With Gale Force, you can attack up to 4 times a round with Tryndamere. Double stack deck. Yeah, Vi is possible. Gale Force echoing his Relic. I'm a little bit worried about going for echoing with him. Did we get a new post? Okay, not seeing anything. Just flash there for a moment. You just draft high-cost units. It's going to be a bit of a balance. If you're going into like the new event, then yes, you're probably just going to draft high-cost units. So you're just pulling out these bigger units. In a normal game, though, you're going to need things to play early. So you're going to have to be careful. I mean, if you have Starforged, if you have his 5-star, then okay, you're starting at 4 mana. That makes things a lot easier. But for anyone that isn't at that point, yeah, you're going to have to still get some units to play in the early amount. The good thing is, it is going to be kind of hard to brick your hand completely, because if you just have to drop all your mana for the Call to Arms, this is still guaranteeing a unit for you. So it's still summoning something from your deck every round. So if you kind of don't have anything else you can play, drop all your mana on this, and then it's not terrible. Starforged, his Relic, and Beast probably for consistency. Yeah, that's probably going to be one of the best ones for you. If he's already in play and he's top of deck, does the Call to Arms summon another copy of him in play? It should. because this isn't necessarily getting added to your hand and then getting summoned. This is just immediately getting summoned. So if you have a Tryndamere, it should just give you another one. If Tryndamere is on the top of your deck, you already have him. Imagine getting Tryndamere from Call to Arms turn 2. I mean, it's going to happen to people. That's going to be the fun thing. This is a really good build for trying to push you towards getting other Titanic units. So yeah, in this event, when you can just focus on all Titanic units, this is going to be very good. Because you'll just be able to, like, you start at 5 mana anyways, pretty much. You'll be able to just start dropping this Call to Arms every single round. Echoing Spirits a go then. I mean, for the new event, it definitely will be fun. Feral Presence will be such a great power. Yes. It's a nice way to make a Tryndamere deck. I agree. This is much more interesting than I think anyone was expecting. And stuff to build around. So it's gonna be the same for like a lot of like Noxus champions. Any way you can get free attacks, so, or just extra attacks. So getting Scout's gonna be good. Getting Rally's gonna be good. Getting free attacks like Quick Strike Blade on anything. Any way to get more attacks in is gonna be excellent for you. So that's gonna be something you can build around. Any amount of scaling for your units. So like Fury, Endurance, any of those sorts of things will be okay. Anything that's summoning extra units for you will be solid. But then since you do have a spell to play every single round, getting like Spellslinger to reduce down the cost of your spells, even if it's just for your Call to Arms, still worth it. Your Sorcery to get mana every round. There are a lot of upgrades. He's not very narrow as far as what you're wanting to get. There's a lot of stuff you can build around with him, which I think will be pretty good. I'm afraid Tryndamere getting stat checked by higher adventures. I think you should be fine. Like, it'll, especially with his Relic, it'll be good. Because like the point you are getting stat checked is normally like 5 and 6 star adventures. And if you're going into those, you should have him fairly close to getting maxed out. But yeah, the Bloodstone Pact will definitely help that. So I don't think 6-star Tryndamere is going to get stat checked at all. If you're playing with a Tryndamere that is like a 3 to 4 and you don't have his Relic, then maybe. Without his 2-star, you might get stat checked. Yeah. But I don't think anyone's really going to play without this. Maybe he'll end up being Darius, just there to hold relics for units. Yes and no. I think it is kind of similar with Darius, where he's not the champion or he's not the unit you're necessarily building around. But if you get the opportunity to play him, he's still a great unit. I think that's the same for Darius. I think that'll be the same for Tryndamere. With Tryndamere, you can potentially get him out with the Call to Arms. So there's going to be moments where pretty much like getting your Fiddlesticks to pop right away, you can get that with your Tryndamere, which can be a lot of fun. And so yeah, getting him on the board will be quite nice. But he's not like, oh, you can't win without Tryndamere. That's not really going to be the case. Darius style champion, but kind of better, especially if you compare both with 6 stars. Yeah, that's pretty similar. But I do kind of like that you don't, I don't know, it's a toss-up. Some champions, it's really fun just being able to focus on the champion and use them to absolutely obliterate. But it's nice for other champions where they're important in their deck, but if you don't draw them, it's not the end of the world. Because that always sucks, when it's like, well, I didn't draw my champion, so I just lose. That's always a little annoying. But this should be pretty good. Alright, it is 12:48, so we should get some new news soon. Who knows if the one dev is going to tell us at all about his Constellation. Yeah, we should get patch notes soon, so maybe we'll get some new epic relics. We'll have to see. But overall, I'm pretty happy with both of these. My initial thoughts about the Elder Dragon bundle or the epic relic, it doesn't seem the most impactful. Like, even for Elder Dragon, I think that there's several other relics that I'd rather use over this. So I don't even think in most builds I'm necessarily going to want to take this. Now, things could change. Also, one thing to note is this could be better if it also triggers Fury. So if your unit is able to kill enemy units and then that helps them scale up, that is going to make them feel a little bit better. So that can make this slightly better than it looks. So that's kind of my only thing I'm a little bit iffy on for Elder Dragon. Overall, while his kit is pretty simple and straightforward, we figured there's going to be a decent chance they do that. Elder Dragon is already a very simple and straightforward champion, and that's not bad. It's good to have some champions like this that are very easy, very straightforward, and you can just play them, drop your big unit every round, do well, that's fine. And then I do like that they paired that with Tryndamere that is going to be a little bit more complex, going to take more to actually get out of him. But the Tryndamere's, his epic relic, this looks like one you're pretty much always going to want on Tryndamere. Like, a bunch of extra Nexus health, solid, but then this is just doubling the effect of almost your whole deck as well as your second star power, which just seems kind of crazy. I didn't see any level ups for Tryndamere's Constellation. If they posted that somewhere, let me know. As far as we know, we don't know anything about his Constellation yet. I wouldn't be surprised if they gave this like 1 to 2 cost reduction to make this a little bit more playable. Check your Discord leaks. Alrighty, I'll take a look at that one moment. All right, so here is for Tryndamere, followers you acquire in adventures that cost 4 or more have ancient coin. So it's just getting kind of similar to Elder Dragon vibes, somewhat, where you're just getting a little bit of cost reduction on these units. So that's not bad, making you want those units a little bit more, makes it easier to play. And then your Hearthguard gets Shadow Totem, which is this guy right here, which is perfect because it's grant allies in your deck 1/1. So this getting Shadow Totem means it's going to be able to have that effect go off twice. It's not too bad. Patches drop in 10 minutes, I hope. Yeah, same. We'll have to see. This one, I mean, yeah, it's not going to matter for your top deck summoning, but you're still going to have to play a lot of your units. So this is going to be still nice. 4/4 with Relic, crazy. Yeah, with your Relic, that's going to go pretty hard. And if we take a look at grant allies in your deck 1/1, I think this is a summon effect. So this should go off even if you don't have to worry about playing this unit. Although Shadow Totem is a play effect, isn't it? I think they changed that. So yeah, this won't work. You have to manually play this card to get the Shadow Totem, which will be unfortunate. Still nice, still good. Not quite as crazy as being able to drop your Call to Arms and that summoning out your Hearthguard and then getting another copy of him. So, a little bit worse than I initially thought, because yeah, I forgot that they nerfed that. Overall, these are both solid upgrades. Cost reduction for your more expensive units to kind of push you towards getting those. And then a very solid upgrade on one of your bigger units. What if they made the Tryndamere Relic work only on him because of weird interaction with buff allies everywhere? Possibly. Yeah, I'm actually fine with some like this, where it's very niche. So even if this wasn't just for Tryndamere, it still would be not used by a lot of people. But I think if they just made this possible for everyone, it would really limit them in the future to be able to make certain champions, because then this relic would just be crazy strong with some people. And yeah, potentially you'd have some weird interactions with everywhere buffs, but at least this is something that, hey, if you're Tryndamere, which is made for him, at least this is a relic you actually want to be playing. A little bit sad that at the moment the Elder Dragon one doesn't hit that same note for me, but again, we'll have to play and test it out. With it triggering Fury, maybe it's going to be really, really good. We'll have to see. Tryndamere looks a lot better than expected. Yes. Secret Technique works with spells that buff the deck too, so we could probably get double the buffs. Probably. Reaching 100 Nexus health with gemstones at this point. Yeah, for Vi, I think she can do that, which is kind of funny. Sad that 6-star Elder wasn't upgrade 3-star like we theorized. A little bit. I'm not surprised by that. That was just kind of a hope. Patch notes today? Yes, the patch notes will hopefully drop in 5 minutes, but it might be an hour and 5 minutes. We'll have to see. Excited for patch notes. Curious that they add something to them more than just the nodes of the adventure. Yeah, so the stuff we're getting, like the bare minimum that we're getting from the patch notes right now is the 2 champions, their relics, and then we should just be getting like double the amount of adventure or reward nodes for the encounters we already have. Outside of that, everything else is kind of a toss-up. We could get new epic relics. I'm hopeful, but I don't necessarily... I don't know. I feel like someone would have found them in the files if that had happened. So I'm not really expecting it, but I'm hoping. Could they add another adventure to the event? Potentially, but again, I don't think that's very likely. I think they're probably going to put adventures in at the start and then just add more rewards. As far as like the battle pass, it should, yeah, just be rewards for both these regions. Which, yeah, I only have 30 Freljord Nova Shards, so I'm probably gonna have to get the one, end up buying the one for Tryndamere. But yeah, if they don't change anything to Elder Dragon, then we're just gonna immediately upgrade him to like 4 stars. Now, when they radically shift a champion like Nasus, then yeah, we still play him at the 3 stars, but here, like playing him at 3 stars, nothing's gonna have changed. So we'll potentially just upgrade him. It'd be a good time to bring back Starforged Gauntlets with all those Titanic units. Yeah, it's gonna be very nice for the what is it called? The shop that they add whenever they do that. Yeah, it's feeling good if you have an extra Freljord Nova right now. Yeah, the pass will give a bunch of crystals and shards. Normally it gives, I think, roughly 50, unless you like high roll something. So if you have more than 50 for Nova crystals, like if you need more than 50, then you're probably not going to quite reach it. I have a Freljord Nova. I don't know if I want another stat champion. I'm waiting for a Nivea or Lysandra. Yes, Tryndamere is going to be... He's going to be very unit focused. And he is going to be a scaling stat champion, which we do have a lot of those. I think he'll be fun, but he's going to scale in a different way, but it is still just more scaling. So if you're not really into that, I definitely understand maybe not wanting to do it. I have one Nova, 89 shards for Freljord right now. Still don't know if I want to use it. I mean, I really like the Volibear one, and I would probably go for Tryndamere over Ashe, but I just think Ashe is generally pretty boring to play. I'm hoping that Eldragon gets a node which gives all 6+ cost units the boon item that we pick up. Yeah, I think that would be a bit of cope there. That would be a little much. 20 shards away from Fiddle 6-star. Hope I can get him from the event. I mean, you should. Yeah, with the events that they're going to add in this patch, you should definitely be able to get that. All right, it's 12:59. Let's see what we can get. I'm gonna drop any news here. Also, normally, again, my patch notes often, for some reason, load later than other people's. So if you see the patch notes, go ahead and post them in chat. We'll start the refreshing. 6.2 patch notes. Yeah, those are the old ones. But yeah, it is 1 o'clock. Any sort of news? We're probably gonna get Runeterra and Freljord Gold Star vessels. Yeah. Also, yeah, the patch notes from last month, it says they came out at 2. So we might have a little bit to wait. Yeah, not really seeing anything. I also find it really cool that Tryndamere is riding Elder Dragon on the reveal post. Yeah, this is a pretty good animation or artwork. That is nice. You know what would be more amazing than patch notes? Patch notes where the pictures load for the first time around. Let's look at some of the champions and what we might want to do for relics. I think for Elder Dragon, this is still going to be excellent for you. So yeah, you start at 12/12. And so you're going to get 9/9 from Dragon Souls. So he's going to be up to over 20/20. Beast Within is still solid, giving all units at 1/1 and everyone Overwhelm. Now, Elder Dragon's not going to need the Overwhelm when he is 6 stars, because your Dragon Souls are now going to give him that. So this is one that won't be as necessary. This is nice for cost reduction, but Portal Pals can be really good, especially if you're running with his specific relic, because these units will then also be hitting the enemy nexus and board as well. So that's not too bad. Gale Force will be solid, being able to get some extra attacks in, that can be good. The Vi Relic, with this, you're getting 3 impact. You get an extra 3 impact from the Dragon Soul, one of them, and then you're attacking as a 20/20 unit. So going for Cease and Desist is going to be pretty crazy. This is going to be another one that is quite good for you. Overall, though, all the relics that have already been good for Elder Dragon, it's not really going to change. There's some that we might not need as much, but it's still going to be really good. So I don't think anything's changing there. As far as, let's actually go look at Tryndamere. I think he's like 8/6 stat line with Overwhelm. He levels up, he like heals back up, gets extra health, and fury. So yeah, he is 8 cost. He is 8/6, so he is baseline Titanic. So you don't have to worry about adding any extra stats for like Gale Force. When I would die, I level up instead. So he goes to a 9/9, and now he gets fearsome and tough. So he's going to be pretty hard to get off the board unless they obliterate him. If they obliterate him, he's still gone. So that's not really great. No, Secret Technique only works with spells. Grant an ally 8/4, create a Tryndamere in your deck. So with him being an 8 cost, he's going to be pretty hard to play. So I don't think you could go for like a Stalker's Blade. That would still trigger from a summon effect. Yeah, you probably don't want to go for like Gatebreaker. Big guns, this probably won't matter. Black Shield can be okay. Cease and Desist, again, this is a play effect. So if you're trying to rely on summoning him through your Call to Arms, this won't go off. And you have to hit a little bit of extra stats for him to be able to trigger this. Chosen, you could trigger the Empower 10 pretty easily, but that doesn't really matter. Cruel Experiments. Overwhelm and Impact. For one, this is a play effect. So that's going to be immediately a bit worse for you. Deadly Harpoon. I don't think is really going to matter. Death's Foil. I mean, honestly, with Tryndamere, he's already hard to kill. So you probably don't need this extra effect. Defense Bending. Disciple of Shadows will be good if you want to try to get him on the board a little bit earlier. I don't think, since you can potentially cheat him out of your deck, I don't think this is going to be as needed, especially since he's not as much of your win condition. Echoing, it can be good if you really want to go for the meme build of pulling him out with your Call to Arms. You do have the slight risk of somewhat bricking your hand, especially for your first couple rounds because he's so expensive. Essence Thief is garbage. Fear Clearing Axe, yeah, it doesn't matter. Fountain Fortune could be good. You have 2 5 costs in your deck baseline, so you could pull one of them out. Frozen Tomb. That could be fine, honestly. He's so expensive that this would cheat him out early. Yeah, Frozen Tomb could be fine. Full build, you don't really need it. Hidden Tome could be actually okay, to be honest. Frozen Tomb and Portal Pals, yeah, that could work. Icon, no. Hextech Battery, no. Living Weapon, no. You're not going to be on long enough for this to matter. Loaded Dice honestly could be good. Oath of the Guardians actually could be solid. Because you're putting these into your deck, which then you can make them even bigger. So that's not terrible. Probably don't need Pack Powder. Probably don't need Hex Core. Portal Pals can be fine. This is a play effect, so it's, again, not really the best. You don't really have any spells to trigger this. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of Epic Relic you don't really need. Stack deck could be okay. And really, Starforge is going to be what you want to go for. So going for a very passive build, where you go for, yeah, like Starforge, Beast Within, potentially his Relic. But if you don't have his Relic, going for like like Black Shield wouldn't be bad. Frozen Tomb will be nice. Portal Pals will be nice. Beast, Black Shield, stack deck. Yeah, he's going to be one where you're going for a lot of the passive ones to just buff everyone up. Twin Drake Hounds, you can attack a lot with the Rally to Call of Arms. Yeah, I don't think it's really needed. It's pretty much the worst one in the game, sadly. I'll go quickly refresh, see if they posted anything anywhere. Not seeing anything. And yeah, I think it's probably not going to come out for a little bit. Better for Elior Darius, pretty much. Yeah, I think there's like 5 to 6 epic relics that are all going to be solid for you, and you can just kind of mix and match for what you want. So Starforged, excellent, but it is a paid relic. Beast Within, I think that'll be really good. You actually have a decent amount of subtypes. Black Shield will be very good as well. Frozen Tomb, not bad. Portal Pals, also pretty good. You could definitely pair both these together. His relic will be very good as well. And then if you want, you could also just go for Loaded Dice as another passive one. So I think he's going to be solid to play. You're going to enjoy getting him on your board. But yeah, he's not going to be one where it's like, oh, I have to draw Tryndamere, otherwise I lose, which is going to be nice. That'll be really good. What does Call to Arm do? We'll look at it here for you, but it's... You're updrafting 1, so that is putting a card from your hand back into your deck and reducing its cost by 1. So overall, not bad. And then you summon a unit from you summon the top ally from your deck. So it's ally, so it could be a champion. It doesn't have to be a follower. You're summoning it, so you don't have to put it in your hand and play it. So you get to kind of get it for free, other than the mana you're paying for this Call to Arms. And then that's obviously going to trigger summon effects. Also, by placing a unit back in your deck, that means it can get further scaled up by your Bloodlust, as well as a lot of your other cards that are buffing up your top deck. So overall, pretty good. Pretty good. His relic feels meh. For the Tryndamere one, I think this is really good. Because you're further buffing up, or you're doubling the effect of your Bloodlust. So now every time allies attack, you're now granting your entire deck 2/2. That's pretty good. And then once you get the 6-star, you're able to do this. You're able to attack every single round or twice a round with the Rally. So that's excellent. Also, since you're doubling the stats when you play an ally, the fact that they're already going to be even bigger, and then those extra stats are going to be doubled again, not bad. But then you have so many ways of buffing up your top deck with this one, that one, this one, that one. Also, who knows if he gets any of the other effects that also buff up your top deck. Like there's the Ardent Censor, or there's another one that does essentially the same thing that's also buffing up your top deck. Those effects also are going to get doubled by your Epic Relic. Now, if you don't like the Epic Relic, I definitely think this isn't like, oh, you have to use this on Tryndamere. I don't think that's the case. But I think it's definitely good enough that it's worth using on him, and you can actually replace some of your other Epic Relics, and it's not going to feel too bad. With the 6-star, you effectively quadruple the unit. Not quite, because it's not like the unit starts out at 0/0. But based on the unit, you're doubling the amount of stats they're getting from this. And then when you play them, they get like double whatever they have. So you could end up quadrupling, but not quite. With the updraft, I can see him struggle a bit if he has no card draw. Like Elixir of Skill on his 1-cost spell. Yeah, that would be nice. You have a little, like you have a tiny bit of draw with your Sorin. The good thing is this is a summon effect, so this can help you a bit. Because yeah, you will have to updraft in order to get the summon effect going. So you have to have at least a card in your hand. You quadruple the buffs for 1 round, but you double the base. Tryndamere and Janus synergy, a bit, yeah. let's actually go and read what, because like I think I know what updraft does, but let's just make sure there's not. I guess we could look at Janna. That's also true. So shuffle a card into your deck and reduce its cost by 1. Okay, that's what I thought. Just wanted to make sure. So you take a card from your hand, put it back in your deck, and then you reduce its cost. So overall, pretty good. Because yeah, especially since you're trying to get likely more expensive units with your Tryndamere, you then draw one of your big expensive units. There's no way you can play it for a couple rounds, and so you're like, okay, just put you back in the deck, try to get a different one. So I think it'll be pretty good. Yeah, the Tryndamere Relic isn't doubling the amount of stats your unit is getting from the 6-star. So when it says when you summon an ally, double its stats this round, this isn't going to double those stats. It's going to double the stats from like your Bloodlust and a lot of your other effects, so that they're going to be then bigger, but it's not essentially doubling this one. Sad that Trin and Ash don't have the some amount of synergy as husband and wife. I didn't know they were actually married. Guess I missed that one. They are cool. You really want to brute force you can play Kale with Tryndamere Relic and Jinx Relic? It's a cinema lore. Tryndamere and Ash is a political marriage? Okay. Alright, let's go. I think it's going to be pretty fun. He's a good Aatrox vessel too. Trying to think if there's anything I'm kind of missing or overlooking for these ones. Yeah, if this was able to get Challenger, that would be nice. The Caught in the Cold otherwise will be very good with it. Sharp Sight, so you will be able to block elusives. That's nice. Getting Elixir of Skill on either of these would be pretty good to get that little bit of extra draw. Actually, this is bothering me. Doesn't Mighty Poro have Overwhelm? Yeah. Mighty Poro has Overwhelm. So I don't know if they're using a different version of the card. It's just really weird that the one for Poro doesn't have it, because like everything else is the same. Still a Poro, still a 3-cost 3/3. Don't know why it doesn't have Overwhelm. Wish the 6-star would be the first time you summon an ally, double its stats. This round makes it mid. Not really, because you're going to be able to summon multiple units in a round, very likely. And so this can give you more upfront power to try to end faster. I wouldn't say that that is necessarily better to eliminate it to 1. I think this can be pretty solid. I don't think the fact that I kind of prefer this over being limited to 1. Because now, especially the later you get, the more mana you get, all of your units are getting this doubling effect. And sure, you only have 1 round to really utilize it, but you're at least then getting giant units to make the enemy not want to block, or you're then being able to do a ton of damage. Yeah, I think I like this better rather than it being limited to one round and just being permanent. And then the fact that you have this rally is so good. I guess, yeah, since it's focus speed, you can't make it go off twice. So are you all in to try to end it early? You can, yeah. With all the stats you get, you'll be able to just have a round where you go super aggressive and just try to absolutely annihilate the enemy. It's even better than the ASOL, kind of, because you have different scaling. Yeah, you actually have more scaling. Like Aurelian Soul, you have a lot of just flat scaling of like, okay, these units are double. So that's really good. But here you have more ways to scale up your units that then you drop them and they're just going to be huge. Guardian Angel Tryndamere. I mean, yeah, they're going to have a hard time getting rid of him. Let's look at Aesol's power. Yeah, it is actually a play effect. I'll get rid of my camera. When you play a unit, double its stats. If it's Aurelian Soul, disguise descending your pathetic enemies. So yeah, Aurelian Soul's one is actually a play effect. So the fact that this is a summon effect is kind of better. Like, it is temporary, so it's just for the round. So it kind of is depending on what you want. Thing is, though, Aurelian Soul doesn't have any other form of scaling, really. So they're getting twice their stats, which is nice. But since you're able to scale up your units even more and then double them, your units are going to be bigger than generally what Aurelian Soul can pull out. So it's probably going to be a little bit of personal preference on whether you like this one that's temporary but bigger, or the other one that is just a play effect, double, and permanent. All right, hopefully the patch notes are on time today, and we don't have to wait a crazy amount. Granted, the patch notes, there could be some really interesting stuff in there, or it's just going to be like, hey, 2 new champions, new rewards, new battle pass, and that's about it. I activated 2 on Twitter. Please no. We have to see the stars, the minor ones. Yeah, especially for Tryndamere, we don't know what your support champions are going to get. If your support champions could get Quick Strike Blades, so they get a free attack, or if they could get Scout, either of those would be pretty good. And I think similar to Elder Dragon, you're potentially going to want to go either the route of getting a very cheap champion that you can play right away. That way you can try, if they get Scout especially, or even the free attack, you can try to get extra attacks with them, so you can just further get your scaling. Or you're fine with getting another big unit you can try to high roll and pull out with your Call to Arms, because the more big units you have in here, the more likely this is to hit a unit you care about. And best of support champ. Yeah, any support champs that can give you rallies or scouts would be very good. With Elder Dragon, the champion gets the 2 dragon boons. Yes. So you either want to go for a cheaper champion that you can drop them early. They get the double boons or souls when you have them at 6 stars. That gives you extra power on your support champion, but also gives you cost reduction for Elder Dragon. But you still might want to get like a 6 cost champion, because then they get cost reduced down, and then you also get the extra dragon boons from your like passive and your 2nd star power. Yeah, the 6+ champions should get 4 dragon souls. I mean, we'll get both people to we'll get both of them to 6 stars. All right, Bob. I'll take a look at those whenever you post them. Yeah, the game probably, updates, so a lot of people are able to find stuff, which is probably just going to be a little sneak peek on whatever we're going to get in the patch notes. Just kind of refreshing, seeing if anything different has popped up. It's so cool. Eddie and Fiddle will be my 6-star Runeterra champs. It will be pretty fun. Yeah, I think Elder Dragon, I think it's going to be very solid. Like, those Dragon Souls are so strong that being able to just get those as your 6-star effect, it's just it's further improving everything you were already doing. Still 6-star Ashe over Tryndamere. Personally, I think Ashe is too boring, but that's very much personal preference. Just let me know whenever you post those, Bob. It will be interesting to see if they adjust any of your items on your starting deck for Elder Dragon. Like, I suppose let's actually go and grab this here. So the items you already currently have, you have Challenger right there, Giant's Belt, Sharp Sight. Really, a lot of these cards, especially the Ruby-Eyed Conjurer, you just want to immediately cut it. So right now, Wounded White Flame has the 1/1, and the Dragon Worshipper just has 3/3. So if you're able to cut the Blue Sentinel and the Ruby-Eyed Conjurer, then the Dragon Worshipper is going to be your weakest unit, and this can be the one summoned out by your 4-star. And this has When Summon Heal Your Nexus 2, and gain 1 extra mana next round. And you have the Crystal Carrier, so this is giving you 2 extra mana the following round. So you could reliably, because normally you can cut 2 cards, as long as you don't get any support champions that have weaker units than this, then you'll be able to have this drop out your opening turn, and then the next turn get 2 extra mana. So from your 4-star, this could be pretty crazy. All right, let's grab this here. So new item, Evil Phage. Interesting. So 2/1, play, deal 2 damage to each Nexus. All right, interesting. So this could be, I mean, really good, especially for like Gnar. If Gnar gets added, you'd probably want to deal with this. Could also be good for Warwick. But overall, I mean, it's pretty solid for everyone. If you know you're a champion that you have decent regen, then this will be pretty good for. And I think that's the only item at the moment. But cool, they're adding more items into the game. Yeah, this will be great for Gnar. Do we think that this would really matter for any of the current champions? Oh. Rare item or rare relic. I thought this was just an item, but... I mean, I guess it could be a relic. Because, yeah, that's how rare relics look in game. Well, actually, this is a little bit... The line around is a little bit more solid. Yeah, relics are a little bit... The border's a bit different. So, yeah, a little bit different there. Swain for more spell damage. Could be okay. So, them potentially adding new items to the game. Alright, kind of surprised since we already got so many with the last patch, but more the merrier. Alright, it is 1:30. I wonder if they're going to drop the Battle Pass info. Granted, it's pretty much always the same thing, but still be nice to get that, just to make sure we're getting a lot of stuff we're used to. Yeah, getting more rare and epic relics will be quite nice. I do actually wonder if any of your units will get a free attack. Like if your Snow Dog would get a free attack on it since it already has attack effect. Because other units like Vayne has a free attack on one of her cards, so it's not like it's out of the realm of possibility of getting free attacks. So maybe that could be fun. That Mighty Poro bothers me more than it should. The fact it doesn't have Overwhelm, it just looks so wrong. Kind of want more rares because we have a lot of epics, and they're rather hard to get. Yeah, I would definitely not mind more rare relics. Like, especially the fact it's been so long since we've had any. The not so Mighty Poro, yeah, pretty much. Oh. I am gonna miss this event. Like, with the Arcane one, after I got all the rewards, I would look at it and I was like, do I want to play this more? Because like it's limited time, so I feel like I should, but honestly, I was just like, nah, I'm fine. This event, though, it's like, I am going to actually miss this one. It's just, there's so much stuff you can do in here you can't do in the normal game mode. It's a lot of fun. The Mighty Pour is the thing you can't unsee after I saw it. Yeah. You just look at it, you're like, it's just not right. I wonder if they double the rewards. This event has more rewards to begin with on each adventure. I mean, I figured that they would double them, but yeah, if the adventures already start with more, then maybe they'll just add like 3 to each one. In the Arcane event, you could get through a game without getting any champion powers. Well, this one, you get everything. Yeah, exactly. And so it's like outside of the new adventures, which were fun, it's like you could go through and have the exact same playstyle you would have normally. But here it's like, not only are there a whole bunch of new powers, new items, but then every time your deck feels different to play. You get all this starting mana. Your whole deck has been changed with additional items. I'm actually the other way around. I kind of missed the Arcane one, mostly due to the fact that the Warwick adventure, they're leveled a lot of champs for me. Interesting. I want a Azir Shreema event and see what they could do with it. It will be interesting to see what they do with events, because this is very much one where it's not themed on a specific region at all. It's just themed around Titanic units. And that's fun. The whole event is just playing around that one aspect. It will be interesting if they do have others where, hey, this is like a Shreema event. That being said, I feel like they probably wouldn't want to do that, just because if it is an event themed around like Shreema, then pretty much all the champions you're going to get are going to be like Shreema ones. So it's maybe not the best. I mean, they could maybe do an event where it was like Noxus versus Demacia. So like each patch you're getting a Noxus and Demacia champion maybe. We'll see. Shreema Ascended, Darkin, and Void event. That would be fun. Like, they could potentially do that with having pretty much all Shreema or Runeterra champions. Imagine they make Little Stuff event instead, where everything is cheap and tiny. Have a blast with Ari. I mean, I feel like they're probably going to do that. Yeah, where all your cards are focused on being cheap. All of your expensive cards probably get a lot of cost reduction, but then get reduced stats. And even that is going to be interesting, because now you're no longer relying on big units. You're now relying for your big units on big play effects. So there's still going to be some like Ledros where you don't really care about stats at all. You just care about his big power when you activate him. So it is something that I think they're probably going to do. Event Noxus Wars, so they can add champ small regions. I mean, it would be fun if they could try to add a little bit more of a narrative to the events. Granted, I still have to go and watch. Like, I think they added dialogue into the Elder Dragon event, and I think I always skip it because it's just, I don't even think about it. It's not like I'm actively choosing to skip it. I just, at the start of every event, just like click super fast to get through everything. Yeah, this event I've been very impressed with. I honestly wasn't that impressed with the Arcane one, especially because I feel like for an event, it should be more impactful like this one is. And the fact that, yeah, you could go on an entire adventure without getting any champion powers, like, I thought they were going to make it so almost every power you got was a champion-specific power. And it was like, oh, that's going to be crazy, trying to just mix and match from all the different champions. It's not really how it worked out in most games, in my experience. But the fact that they're really leaning into this one is just like, you cannot escape this event. It's going to feel different regardless of like who you're playing. I think it's really nice. I also ADH that issue, but I actually made myself read all the dialogue. Yeah, I'm gonna need to do that before this event ends, is play through it. All right, let's look and see if anything else has popped up. Yeah, so pretty much everything we already saw. Oh. This should be good, though. I am kind of happy that it is Tryndamere over Malphite. Like, we still don't have a lot of Targon units, so getting another Targon for Malphite wouldn't have been bad, but yeah, it's not bad. Freljord was one of those regions that did really need new champions. Max both ones ASAP. This one's a little sad for me. I have a lot of Nova Crystals, but I don't have any ready for these two regions, so that's a little bit sad. I'm probably, like, last Battle Pass, I took my time with it. This one, I'm probably gonna have to spend some time just grinding through it super fast to try to get all the resources so I can potentially get some 6 stars going. The other thing with the Arcane event was that the actual caches for getting champ powers weren't common either. That is very true. So they didn't always show up because of your usual general powers, and the event node wasn't always around to give champ powers in runs we couldn't find either. Or in those runs we couldn't find any. Yeah, it was very sad that the caches for powers weren't very common, which I get that being the case for like the game now. It is cool that the caches can still show up. That's awesome. But the fact that that wasn't really the case in the event was a little bit sad. I feel like they should have been relatively common in there. Funny how Tryndamere deck is the one you don't want to draw your champion. A bit. Like, you want to get him cheated out through the call to arms. But drawing him's not terrible. Malphite would also be a new monument champ, like landmark champ. Yeah. I hope Galio and one of the stars would be a unit that has formidable regen. I mean, I'm kind of surprised we're not getting Galio this event. Like, I almost wish this event went on for another month and we could get like Galio and Malphite. Maybe they could have changed the Arcane event so that every run you had like 3 common, 3 extra 3-star powers in addition to base. That would have increased replayability. Yeah, that could have been fun if you just even start the game with extra powers. I don't think they'll update the file, so no more leaks, but I'll keep my eyes on it just in case. Okay, sounds good. I wanted Eddie after we saw the souls. I mean, yeah, that is the fun thing. Well, pretty much whenever a champion is an enemy boss, and then you're able to get them, and especially when you can kind of incorporate some of those designs, like the fact that they added in Dragon Souls for the boss. We spent the patch fighting against it, being like, man, this is overpowered, and now we get that same power ourselves. It is a good way to kind of build up hype for a champion. Galio can still make his heroic entrance unsuspected. That would be pretty funny. All right, it is 1:41. Hopefully then in under 20 minutes, we're going to get the patch notes. And yeah, I'll kind of have to see what's in there. I mean, they were able to find a new thing, so maybe we will be able to get, I mean, if nothing else, some new items added to the game. Hella excited for Elder Dragon, thinking to use my Runeterra Nova on him. Nice. You end the stream and patch notes drop like every other reveal ever. I wonder if this once in a blue moon experience, having our champ get the boss's power. I hope they do it more, because it has been pretty fun. And I think that wouldn't be a bad idea for a lot of these events, where the final boss of the event you're then able to get as a playable character in like the second patch of the event, and potentially incorporate some of their brokenness into your kit. I think that wouldn't be a bad idea to do, but even if this is just like a blue moon and we don't get this again, it was fun and cool here. Yeah, the patch notes should be out in under 20 minutes, hopefully. Because if we take a look at the patch notes for last time, I mean, they say it came out at 2 for both of them. I know they sometimes retroactively go back and change these, or at least I think that happens sometimes. But yeah, we'll wait and see. Now that I'm thinking, who would you want call to arms outside of Tryndamere? It's going to be a regular card in Path of Champions 2. If this is a card you are just seeing, it's going to depend on what upgrades, because this is a relatively expensive card. If you're able to see this where it's pretty much cheaper than whatever you have in most of your deck, then you're probably going to want it on, I mean, just going to go by champion to champion. Now, there's going to be some champions where they have a lot of extra spell mana lying around, like Nami or Heimerdinger, where they can refill their spell mana. So this will still be worth it to be able to play this, be a spell you're playing, and you get another unit. Or you could have champions such as like Volibear, where you have a lot of really big units in your deck. And so being able to play this in order to cheat out another unit could be pretty good. So I think there's going to be a good amount of champions that would like to use this. And then a big part will just depend on what you have in your, or what items this gets on it. Some powers and items never show up in the files since the devs don't put into the files or don't load. Since Switcheroo power and other weeklies never in the files. Good to know. With Echoing Spirit, you can have multiple Tryndamere on the field with Call to Arms. Yes, that should be how it works. Should be a good spell for Swain with the Pyromantic Wake and the Raid gift. And Pyromantic Wake would increase the damage, and your Pyromantic, your 4-star where it's buffing up your top deck. Yeah, that could be decent. Yeah, you don't really rely on it too much for Swain. Like, the extra scaling is nice, but especially once you get him to, like, 6 stars, you don't really rely on your units at all. Play with Echo, predict stuff on your top deck, and summon it using this. You could. I think it'd be a little bit expensive for Echo. Normally you're playing a bunch of smaller spells, so unless this got some serious cost reduction, I don't know if you'd really want to play this. Echo support champ with Tryndamere. Yeah, I think this will be pretty good, though. Like, the Dragon Souls are pretty crazy. Like, this can completely change the outcome of a match. And so getting this on Elder Dragon, because, like, any one of these is massive. Like, the amount of sustain you're going to get, like, Elder Dragon before already had really good sustain. Now the fact that you're doubling it is going to be pretty crazy. And yeah, pretty much all these effects are kind of busted. Like, Elder Dragon's going to get all these, but just being able to have these happen on your units naturally as you're playing them is going to be so good. Oh, 3 times. That's true. Because, yeah, it was... For some reason, I always think this was a heal 3. Yeah, healing 6 is so big. Echo would actually be a pretty good support champion, since, especially when you have him in 6 stars, when you summon an ally, double its stats this round. This would be perfect for your parallel convergence, I think it is, when you summon a ephemeral copy of all your units attacking. Since they're all summoned, they'd all then have double stats, and it'd just be absolutely massive. No, I mean, using the Tryndamere relic, that part of it only works for Tryndamere. Buffing your deck, this won't work for Echo. Wish we didn't get nerfed Dragon Boons from PvP, so it could have gotten even more OP Dragon Souls. Hard reroll for Can't Stop, Won't Stop. Yeah, if you can see that for Tryndamere, it's going to be very good. Granted, that's a power I rarely see, which is a little sad. I am also surprised we're not getting the Battle Pass info. I thought they would drop that before the patch notes. Can't stop, won't stop. When you get some other powers, like the 3/3 every round, it goes pretty crazy. Power overwhelming. That will be interesting. Yeah, power overwhelming is the one that gives your units everywhere 1/1 every round. One thing, honestly, what they maybe should have done or added into the arcane event, and maybe they'll do an event like this, but make it so all of the support champs also come with some or all of their powers. That could be pretty fun. Is Chemtech Duplicator too crazy for Tryndamere? It can be a little bit inconsistent, but it could be okay. Because, like, you're summoning 2 units from your deck, so that part is going to be really good. But you have to get Tryndamere on the board. And so getting him on the board and being at 6 mana, there's going to be some rounds where you get that perfectly to line up, and then you just go absolutely crazy. But there's going to be other times where you just can't get your Tryndamere on the board. Or by the time he is on the board, it's kind of too late to matter. So Chemtech Duplicator is probably one that is worth trying out, but I don't think it's going to be super consistent. But there will be times where it just goes crazy and, yeah, wins you the game. Honestly, Arcane event was there first. They probably learned from that to do better in events in the future. Yeah, they're like, if they've already improved events this much, then that's pretty awesome. Although, yeah, with that event, it was sad how we just rarely ever got the power. Maybe that was a common point of feedback they got. And they're like, okay, we need the event to feel different than the normal game. At least Call to Arms got 2 cost reduction each round. Yeah. I don't think Chemtech will work since you need to updraft to summon. For some things with Chemtech, it does still work, but it does have the 2 effect for it. Like, I think it still works. If we take a look at Jinx. So it's to play, discard 1, deal 3 to anything. I think if you have Chemtech, both of these still go off. So I think it does still work. Things like Rummage works. Yeah, I think it should be fine. It's definitely something we'll need to test out, but I think other similar cards also work. So yeah, oh, that's not what I wanted to do. That should be fine. $153. 7 minutes, and it will hopefully be there. The patch can be always a little bit, or the patch notes can always be a little bit anticlimactic. Yeah, for Chemtech, you do have to get Tryndamere on the field, which definitely can be difficult. Technically, you could go for a build where you'd maybe go for like Chemtech. You can go for Frozen Tomb to make sure you get him on the board. I think this triggers right around when you get 5 mana baseline. And then you could go for like Starforge potentially, or you could go for like Portal Pals to have this summon effect. So you could try to go for something like this. I mean, you could also swap this one out for a bunch of other ones, like Beast Within would also be fine. To try to, if you're going to go the Chemtech route, make sure you're getting your Tryndamere on the board. So if you really want to go that route, Frozen Tube would probably work. A fun build, I can see it. Yeah, definitely one we should probably test out. Yeah, Tryndamere is really giving me kind of Ambessa vibes. Very unit focused, also very focused on trying to attack as much as possible. But then some of the other elements around it, like Ambessa gets removal from her 6 stars, whereas Tryndamere gets extra rallies and extra scaling. And they also both generate a new unique card. Which it is fun that they're actually able to make some new cards for these champions. Like, it's not a lot. It's just, like, especially for Tryndamere, it's just, hey, a new card. I do like, though, that for Tryndamere, we're actually getting some cards we haven't seen. Like, there's still a couple we have seen before, but even the ones we have seen, like the Omen Hawk and the Glacial Sorin, they have more synergy here with Tryndamere than they do in the other decks. Like, the other decks, they're just kind of the random throwaway cards. Here, they're actually important and contributing to the overall playstyle. More impactful scaling on attack, because Tryndamere doesn't really attack too many times like Ambessa. Yeah, you definitely don't have nearly as many attacks as Ambessa. I mean, once you get the 6-star, that potentially will change, but Ambessa normally is able to attack a lot more. Her scaling, though, is just for the units, whereas for Tryndamere, it's your whole deck. It is also interesting that since it's not an everywhere buff, it really is putting importance on the cards you actually have in your deck. So other effects that are just able to generate cards, like if you have generate a Poro every round start, generates your sapling every other round, those sorts of things, they're not getting these types of buffs. So just generating units doesn't really matter. You really actually need to care specifically about the cards in your deck, which I think is pretty fun. What kind of themed event do you want or hope for the next event? I mean, I like the fact that these are actually more gameplay focused events than like the story event for Arcane. So while I would potentially like there to be a story element to it, I'm really enjoying the gameplay ones. So going for kind of a opposite of this one, where you're focused on small units and then your bigger units are maybe getting cost reduction, but they're losing stats. That could be interesting to see how that plays out and how that completely shifts the game. Or they could potentially do ones where it's more focused on like your spells themselves, or maybe like aggressive spells. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, but right now I really do enjoy the gameplay focused events. But I do think some in the future that could be like, yeah, the Noxus invasion of Ionia, and trying to focus maybe on those champions, although a lot of those champions are already in the game. Or if they had like a Void focused event where, hey, now all of these champions are going to be Void champions. So we can add in things like Kha'Zix, Cho'Gath, Kog'Maw, Vel'Koz, and getting like a bunch of those champions added in. I think that could be really fun. And then having like a lot of Void themed powers and items. I just really want them to focus on events that actually impact gameplay. So whether that could have effects like this, where if it was a void focused one, your whole starting deck all has these void themed items that are really just changing the way you play. Having elements of that, where every game you're playing, you know you're playing the event because that's gameplay you're not getting in any other part of the game. I think that's what I want more of in these events. Dan was hoping for Shyvana. Oh, well. Gonna get Eddie probably, but not his relic. Very meh compared to what else is out there for him. I'm gonna all in. Okay, there we go. On Eddie. Yeah, Elder Dragon looks fun. His relic it does look a bit meh compared to some of the other ones, but if this triggers your Fury, which I think it probably should, it could be a bit better. Against specifically certain enemies, this could be really good. And you're going to trigger this and get this damage off more than you normally would with probably like Ambessa. So it can be fine, but yeah, it's not as crazy as what I would necessarily have hoped for. I guess it does, didn't think about that, but still meh. Yeah, it doesn't look too crazy. I think it will push you a little bit more towards going towards Portal Pals, because being able to drop your Elder Dragon and then 2 other units means you're doing like 6 damage to all enemies and the enemy nexus, which is something, I guess. The thing is, a lot of the higher end adventures, that 2 damage isn't really going to do that much. All right, it is 2 o'clock. I'm going to try to reroll here. Normally, though, my patch notes, for whatever reason, they show up later than other people's. So if you see the patch notes, feel free to post them in chat. That's fine. I guess since MMO is still in the works, they might occasionally make story events. But it's not really the point of the game anymore. Yeah. But I think having this sort of story event where it's like the void is actually invading could be pretty good. You got the patch notes. I mean, if you got them, post them. All right, let's see here. I think this should be pretty good size for you guys. All right, new content, new events. All Titans of Runeterra's adventures have 4 to 5 additional rewards. Awesome. To earn while the event lasts. This is the last patch to experience the event, so don't miss out. I 100% agree. This event is fantastic. New champion, Tryndamere. What? Okay. This is different than what we saw, but I guess Pouty Poro is what we're getting instead of the Mighty Poro. Okay, so Pouty Poro, Snow Dog, Hunting Boar, Hearthguard. Oh, and Mighty Poro. So I guess we're missing the... Wait. I guess this isn't all of them. All right, Sorin. Oh, so we're missing the bird. We don't have the bird. That's the one this is replacing. I mean, the bird was actually good, though. My link isn't working? That sucks. How'd you get it to work? I just clicked on it. I just clicked on the link that Show posted in chat. Okay, so the bird works out better than the Pouty Poro, so hopefully this is a mistake, but not sure. But yeah, images are working so far. Tryndamere, it's working now. Okay, great. Glad it's worked for you. And then his call to arms. All right, so we have his star powers here. These look like the same as what we've seen, so I'm going to mostly go just kind of blast over these. His relic. his Helmer. Interesting. Huh. Alright, so new Constellation, Elder Dragon. This is, yeah, pretty much all we've seen. We might get the items in here. Alright, now the Dragon Souls, again, pretty much what we've seen. Alright, so new bundles. Person unlocks the ability to purchase the Representative Celestial one. So I think it's still the case where the like 6-star bundle is locked behind the other one, which is a little annoying. This Poro is pouting because Omen Hawk took their spot. For clarity, will be in his starting deck instead of Omen Hawk. Wait. Okay, so yeah, they're swapping this one out for Omen Hawk, which sucks because Omen Hawk works better. Like, it is going to scale up, that's true. But yeah, Omen Hawk was actually really good. That sucks. Anyways, thank you, Marshall. So yeah, new bundles, the Tryndamere one, Elder Dragon one. Changed content. Minotaur Reckoner in the Nautilus Adventure and Nightmare is no longer vicious, so it won't have the extra starting mana, hand size, that sort of thing. The 4-star Titans of Runeterra Nautilus Adventure now has 2 paths extending from the mini-boss. Several of the Titan Runeterra encounters have had their decks or starting mana tweaked. I wonder if this is going to be the Peculiar Dragon, since that one was probably the roughest. Black Shield will no longer be offered in the Emporium. Now we have Oath of the Guardians. No elusive blocker. Yeah, that is going to be sad. Alright, so bug fixes, and then, yeah, that's it, is what we see. So fix an issue where Sea's Fury spawned tentacles equal to the spell mana spent if spell mana was greater than 0. Isn't that what it's supposed to do? Fix an issue where Morello Nomicon could be offered on spells that already had it. That was annoying. Fix an issue with Land of the Giants effect. Reapplied to cards being played if they were played from hand with cost reduction. Fix an issue where players could hold more than 1 copy of Twin Drakehounds. Oh, that's weird. Fix an issue where Trail of Evidence discounted the unit half of Darkened Weapons to 0. Oh, wait. Trail of Evidence is supposed to work on spells, but discounted the unit half of a Darkened Weapon. Okay, interesting. Fix an issue where Captive Audience created by Beauty in Death 2 with Faulting Blasting Sigil display the incorrect cost. Okay. I think I got blacklisted by LOR since I can't access the patch notes. I mean, I think it's just bad luck, but... Alright, so that's it as far as patch notes. So pretty much nothing really new here. Like, okay, we got bug fixes, and the Emporium is pretty much what we figured. Some of these are nice. The fact that the Reckoner isn't going to have Vicious anymore, and that some of the encounters have been tweaked. I'm guessing they're probably going to do Peculiar Dragon, since that's not really great. And then a lot of this is stuff we already saw before. All of the powers, the starting deck. I mean, other than the Poro being changed up here. This one does suck. It isn't in Power 3, so when you pull this out, as long as it's been buffed up a little bit, it will be able to get these aspects to it. But the Poro, or the bird, was definitely 100% better. So that is sad. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that is sad. Oh, well, the good thing, though, is the fact we got 4 to 5 additional rewards from all the encounters. That is pretty big. Reckoner not being vicious is 1 less starting mana and less HP, and less hand size, yes. So Reckoner is being reduced down because, yeah, that is pretty rough, and for a lot of people's builds, it can kind of shut you down. So him being nerfed is definitely nice. Yeah, they didn't say what upgrades changed to the Elder Dragon deck. So potentially that means no changes, because for Nasus, they showed what changes happened to the deck. For a lot of these, they listed what had changed. But yeah, we're not getting any of that, sadly. They also kind of announced 6.4 will be without an event. I mean, we knew that before. I think it's the most complained about node I've seen in the game. The Reckoner, because I think it's kind of the peculiar dragon. Maybe we'll get the new Relic shop next patch to, yeah, hold off the fact we don't get the event. But yeah, nothing too different in the patch notes from what we already saw, other than the one change to Pouty Poro. So they're not announcing any new relics. We know there's a new item that people found. Who knows if this is going to be added to the game, but we'll see. Yeah, it doesn't seem there's really anything else, sadly. All right, does anyone have something that I missed at all? The new epic relics will not be available in gold and reliquaries, correct? They have not shown anything about new epics. And the new ones for the champions, no. Those ones are only in the bundle. So unless there's like a bug, which sometimes happens, these are only going to be in the new bundle. You can even see that over here when they show it. Available in the Tryndamere Celebration Bundle. Sometimes it kind of glitches out, and these are made available in the Golden Reliquaries unintentionally. So you can sometimes get lucky. I know that happened with like the Swain and the Yasuo one, but don't count on that because that was a bug. Granted, if it does happen again, they let people keep the relics, so that's nice. But yeah, these are only supposed to be available in the Celebration Bundles. Is there a battle pass? It doesn't appear in the bundles. There's supposed to be a battle pass every time. They haven't posted about it yet. I imagine they're going to post about it either today or tomorrow morning, about showing us what we actually get. But yes, there's supposed to be a battle pass every single month. Yeah, hopefully next month we're able to get some new epic relics to start figuring out or start getting some new epics in the golden reliquaries. Yeah, a little bit sad they didn't tell us what items these have, so I'm guessing that they didn't change any of the items on these. So it seems like Elder Dragon, there's not really a point to play him at 3 stars when the patch drops as far as testing out new things. It seems like he's going to be the exact same, he just now has the Constellation. Alright, did something new happen right here? Okay, this is just posting the patch notes. Patch, Path of Champions welcomes Tryndamere, while Elder Dragon receives a brand new Constellation, plus the new Titans of Runeterra event rewards. I think for the Sea's Fury bug, it'll be 3/3 instead of 5/5 if you cast the 5 mana with 3 spell mana. Also, it's not mentioned, but I know how it eats your spell mana instead of just spawning, which isn't mentioned in the power at all. It's only supposed to spawn equal to mana spent. Okay. Yeah, the wording on that wasn't 100% clear for me. All right, I think that's where we'll call it. I don't think there's going to be any other major news for today. So I'm going to go and make a patch notes video to post over to YouTube, but we'll be here streaming tomorrow once the patch goes live, and we'll be testing out all the new stuff. So thanks for hanging out with me. I hope to see you guys tomorrow, and I hope you all have a great time enjoying the new patch. See ya.